Sickened and suing. Tonight, a former University of Maryland student with a severe case of celiac disease says workers in the dining hall repeatedly served her food with gluten that incapacitated her, even sending her to the hospital. Now, she sat down with WJZ investigator Mike Helger to tell her story, which is now the subject of a new lawsuit against the school.
Hannah Smith achieved her dream of graduating from the University of Maryland's flagship College Park campus, but says she went through a nightmare to do it.
I walked into the school with expectations of it being safe, and I left with all of my hopes crushed.
Hannah suffers from celiac disease, an autoimmune condition where eating gluten, a protein found in products like wheat and barley and present in many baked goods, causes damage to her small intestine. It can even lead to cancer. For Hannah, just a tiny amount of gluten can make her violently ill.
It's very hard for me to describe how frightening that was, and I don't think many people understand unless they have an allergy.
So when Hannah made the decision to attend the University of Maryland, she tells us she and her father met with those in charge of the dining program and were assured they could accommodate her disease.
They could have easily prevented all of this from happening if they had just kept their word in the very beginning.
In a new lawsuit against the school, Hannah alleges 4 times after that meeting, poorly trained staff served her foods containing gluten.
What's the address of your emergency?
Including an incident 2 years ago this week where she had to be taken by ambulance from campus to a hospital.
How frightening was that reaction that you had?
For the next couple hours, I kept vomiting. I was in and out of consciousness.
She says days later, a University of Maryland employee was so concerned she showed Hannah this label for the hash brown she believes made her so sick. It clearly says it contains wheat, which has gluten. In another incident, Hannah claims the food services workers served her this burnt toast because she was angry. Hannah complained and told her this.
I got called on the carpet because of what you did. You spoke up. I didn't know that malt had gluten in it. Hope you enjoy your gluten-free toast.
Hannah alleges in her lawsuit a school physician even told her not to eat meals at the university dining facility. Her lawyer shared these pictures with WJZ. She says the school kept gluten-free food for Hannah next to raw meat and dirty dishes and gluten-containing cookies that can cause cross-contamination.
People tend to think it's a joke. It's not a joke. She was incredibly ill.
What was your reaction to how they handled this?
I was appalled. I was appalled. This is just not that hard. There are universities and restaurants all over the United States who know how to do this right.
The lawsuit, filed in both state and federal courts, claims what happened to Hannah is a violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act. The university declined to make anyone available to speak to WJZ and said it does not comment on pending or ongoing litigation, but noted a new program announced this month where students with food allergies and sensitivities can use a dedicated storage and preparation area and have access to cooks specifically trained to handle food allergies. The school's website says they have continual training and an advisory board that deals with special diets, but the university does not assume liability for adverse reactions to the foods students eat.
What would you like to see happen for others with celiac who go to the University of Maryland?
First and foremost, I'd like for them to be aware of what happened to me because I don't want this to happen to anyone else. I trusted their word in the beginning, but they did it repeatedly.
Anyone can make a mistake. This wasn't a mistake. This happened over and over again at a major university.
Mike Helgren, WJZ.
And Hannah says she was never refunded for her meal plan. She had to move out of the dorm to a more expensive apartment where she could prepare her own meals. You can find a link to her lawsuit on our website. Just head to WJZ.com.